You're watching our live and continuing coverage of the Modi Express, NDA's first railway budget. We're talking about the promises that will be made and the announcements that will be made by the railway minister. But what I want to do right now is focus on some of the promises made by previous railway ministers, and let's see whether any of those promises have actually been kept, because the idea can't and shouldn't be to make fancy promises. The challenge really is to go and try and implement some of those promises. Now, here are some of the promises that were made earlier. World-class stations announced in 2010 but dropped in 2011 because of high cost. They wanted stations like you've got stations in Western countries. Now they're not even talking about that idea. Anti-collision devices promised several times. Also in the 2009 budget, they still are not operational. Some anti-collision devices have been put, but these were to be installed in every single train. That still hasn't happened. Auto hubs, 10 auto hubs were promised around the country. No progress has been made so far. Clean toilets. The idea of a green aircraft-style vacuum toilet was promised but not delivered on. AC double-decker coaches promised by Mamata Banerjee, yet to see the light of day. Doctor on train, ambulance at the station. Now, Railways has once again failed to provide these services. Now, these are just a sampling of some of the promises that were made by previous ministers which haven't been kept. We've got Dr. Ashok Lahiri with us on this broadcast, Dr. Arvind Virmani, Mr. Rana, who is a former chairman of the Railway Board. With me in the studio also Nupur Sharma of the BJP. With us from Hyderabad, Abid Rasool Khan of the Congress, Atul Anjan from the left. Now, this is a big problem, Dr. Lahiri. The fact that you can make fancy promises, grandstand when you stand up at noon to deliver your budget, but how do we ensure that Modi and Gowda are different? Now, here we see these images of the railway minister emerging from Rail Bhavan with that suitcase. He will head towards Parliament. He's flanked by the MOS. He will head towards Parliament to deliver his speech. Now, how do we ensure that the man with the genial smile, with not a very substantial or very impressive record as Chief Minister of Karnataka, actually translate what he says into reality?
Rahul, we are not seeing the elephant in the room.
Yes.
The elephant in the room, which previous railway ministers didn't see, is the lack of finances. The railways have a depreciation reserve fund, have got a development fund, have got a safety fund, have a pension fund. Some of my accountant friends tell me that they have been underfunded because the railways didn't have money. They put arbitrary amounts there, and then to come out with promises. I don't think even PC Sarkar or Houdini will be able to deliver on the promises if they don't have the money, and they just don't have the money. So money is, where is it going to come from? It's very clear. Either the government is rich enough to pay a subvention, or railways have to mobilize resources on their own, which is through. Again, I'm not very enthusiastic about talking about small things like, cater here, improve the railway stations by private partnership. The main elephant in the room is fares and freight rates, and you have to decide.
Is privatization a solution?
Privatization may be a solution, but then you have to think about vertical breakdown. For example, are you going to change the organization of the railways where the tracks are owned by someone and the rolling stock is owned by someone else? The international experience with vertical disintegration is not clear.
Why not?
In some countries it has been good. In some other European countries the experience has not been very good. So you have to be careful. All I am saying is that right now I would like to congratulate the present government for having the courage and the guts to increase the fare. And I think you rightly pointed out, it's mostly the politicians who are objecting to it. I haven't found too many people who are saying I am not willing to pay.
No, but they are saying that services must improve. They are saying that safety must improve. Now, how do we ensure, Dr. Virmani, that everything that Gowda says actually translates into reality?
That is the key. If you remember, the BJP manifesto and the president's speech talks about governance, and that is the key. And I remind people of what happened with the previous railway minister. He had to resign because of a corruption scandal. So I have this 1/3 rule. 1/3 corruption, 1/3 inefficiency. So there's a lot that can be done. The question is, you got to have the right administrative people and the right danda, if I may call it, on top the minister.
He was very unimpressive, Nupur, as Chief Minister of Karnataka. Why should we believe he'll make a better railway minister?
He was perhaps given the reins of Karnataka at a very wrong time. You have to give it to him. Having said that, secondly, you cannot, I think, because the circumstances in Karnataka were such that he was made the chief minister, then you can't actually just go on to judge him that he may not, you can't speculate that he may not be a good railway minister. Having said that, the Prime Minister today has hand-picked his ministers and they are going to do a good job. That much he is promising. As far as governance is concerned, I was reading somewhere that in the budget, although we are waiting for it, is also a section where the freight, where the freight wagons are now going to be
not manually
supposed
to reveal the budget before the budget is presented.
No, it's in the newspapers. I don't. Obviously, I don't know. I'm not in the ministry, not in the Council of Ministers either. But I read in newspapers that, for example, if you're booking a wagon, that will no longer be done manually.
And
you'll have an EE system for it.
A lot of corruption.
Of course, make corruption and save money. You have empty coaches going. Imagine how much money you'll be able to save.
And you need to pay somebody in the railways money to even book a coach. Now, how do we, Mr. Rana, make your former organization less corrupt, more efficient?
Transparency.
Firstly, railways can't be far behind the country. It is already behind the country as far as corruption is concerned. It's less than the other modes of weather organization. Secondly, the efficiency, transparency. There is no doubt, we were talking about the announcements and all that, that it should be transparent and this should be on the public domain. All the announcements which are made, there should
but
be
your people find a way of circumventing all good intentions.
No.
Even when e-ticketing was introduced, the touts found a way of booking all the tickets in the first 2 minutes. So the common man never gets the ticket. It's the railway officials in cahoots with the touts who hog all the tickets.
Let's first start with the services and all that. The railways has made a lot of improvements as services is concerned, whether it's information or whether it's how you book the ticket, starting from the Morse code telegraph system for result. So it cannot be said the railway has been struggling to make improvements when there is need for more. And one of the things, the problem of the country is implementation, which bug is also in the railways. And there is one very major constraint in the railways. The executives are not really free to take action. The rigid financial control within the railways are causing havoc. So,
I just want to go for a security review, because one of the big problems is security at railway stations. There have been terror attacks at railway stations. There have been accidents in railway stations. Are things any better? What we did was, and now there's a lot of talk about how they want to improve security, and that's a key focus. Where are things right now? Take a look at this report to understand.
Indian Railways boasts of being the largest rail network in the world, but the security is far from being world class. The lax security can lead to a terror strike or a disaster any time. Here at the New Delhi railway station, a baggage screening machine hasn't been working for the past 6 months.
I'm at the New Delhi railway station, the main gate, and just 20 meters from the main gate, I encounter this X-ray machine here, which has not been working for the past 6 months. That's right. The RPF Jawans have told me here that this X-ray machine has been lying in this state for many months and no heed has been paid to this. Now, it should be understood that every day thousands and thousands of passengers travel by Indian Railways. They cross this very main gate, but then there is no screening of the baggages because the main X-ray screening machine is completely destroyed.
So what do the commuters think of the security at the railway stations and on the trains?
संपर्क क्रांति एक्सप्रेस से नागपुर से चढ़े तो वहाँ पे कोई सिक्योरिटी का प्रबंध नहीं था। दूर दूर तक था, 8 घंटे तक एक टीटी भी नहीं आया टिकट चेक करने।
इंडियन रेल तो बिल्कुल सुरक्षित नहीं है क्योंकि बहुत से लोगों के हादसों में जान चली जाती है और जो गेट का है, गेट पे कोई भी सिक्योरिटी गार्ड वहाँ पे नहीं रहता है।
100 रुपये के ऊपर 14.5 रुपये बढ़ गया अगर वो बढ़ता है उससे हमको कोई गुरेज नहीं है, लेकिन सिक्योरिटी जो अभी मिल रही है हमको रेलवे में वो एकदम बिल्कुल निम्न स्तर की मिल रही है।
Despite the recent fare hike, rail security has often deluded the passengers. Even travelling by Rajdhani Express doesn't ensure a safe travel. Even express trains passing through the NCR report loot and dacoity. RPF and GRP personnel prove no deterrent.
मेजर एक्सेस कंट्रोल और जो एंटी सैबोटेज मेजर्स हैं वो आरपीएफ लेती है और जीआरपी कॉम्प्लीमेंट करती है। एक्स्ट्रा स्टाफ भी लगाया, पोस्ट किया है। इन्वेस्टिगेशन के दौरान जो लोग पकड़े गए हैं वो भी एक मेजर डिटरेंस है।
Can passengers hope for a more comfortable and safer journey after Rail Minister Sadanand Gaura's budget? With Pankaj Upadhyay and Ram Kinkar Singh, Bureau Report, Headlines Today.
A lot of talk about improving safety, but very little action on the ground. What are passengers expecting from Sadanand Gowda? My colleague Pratibha Raman boarded Rajdhani this morning to find out.
It is the D-Day, the railway budget, and I'm here in one of the trains, the Rajdhani Express from Hyderabad to Delhi, and I have with me two passengers who are going to be talking to us about their great expectations from this budget. So what is your great expectation? Do you think the Modi Sarkar can really bring about some kind of changes in the railway system?
As it was air like Modi, always we were expecting like Modi will change, and as they say, like it will be like अच्छे दिन आने वाले हैं, but what they're washing in their hands with that, like UPA Sarkar has did this thing, and the 14% hike, I think it is more, and it is because anything goes from our pocket, it's not good.
Do you think it's justified or not?
It is not justified because our expectation, yes, it was from the new government. It should be they'll be changing something. And washing their hands by saying like this is a UPA execution which we are following, so I think that will not help.
So it's a clear disappointment there. So what are your expectations? You're in the Rajdhani Express, and in fact in the last budget Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge had promised that it would be made bullet trains of sorts with the speed being increased of Shatabdi as well as Rajdhani. Do you think that is really happening? Do you think that will again happen? And what about your security?
Actually, it's not happening. It's even being a student, it's the hike is very disappointing, and
what about your security? There have been 2 thefts that have been reported in the last 2 months. So do you think as a woman passenger there is enough security for you?
No, it's not there. It's not there. It's very disappointing, that's what I can say.
So all of them, the key issues is the price hike to be justified with at least some basic amenities that need to be provided inside the trains, and number 2, the prime importance to be given to security of all passengers, especially women travelling inside trains. With camera person Manohar, Pratibha Raman, Rajdhani Express from Hyderabad to Delhi for Headlines Today.
You know, this whole complaint about Achhe Din is a double-edged sword for Modi, because everyone our correspondents are speaking to across the country are saying Modi promised Achhe Din, we are waiting for those Achhe Din. And in some senses, I have a feeling, Dr. Lahiri, that this Achhe Din can turn into another shining India, where you say Achhe Din, but people want to see Achhe Din for them. If they don't feel that Achhe Din, do you think that could prove dangerous for Modi?
But I think we are being slightly paternalistic and dismissive of the Indian electorate. I don't think anyone expects Achhe Din overnight.
Not so after 40 days, but a year or two, people will want to see the Achhe Din. They like to feel the Achhe Din.
Look at the previous government. It gave Achhe Din in terms of subsidy. Budhe Din came before the election, and they had to suffer. So I don't think this government should be in a hurry. As long as this government is determined to provide Achhe Din, say 3 years down the line, before the election cycle, the electoral cycle comes, it will be okay. I don't think people will complain. I will complain if you increase rail fare and I find I have to shell out another $200 for the fare. But I understand. I'm no idiot, and I'll watch them. That are you charging me 200 rupees and the service is deteriorating, or actually you have provided better service?
Former Railway Minister Pawan Bansal is with my colleague Satinder Chauhan in Chandigarh. Let's listen to what the former Railway Minister, who lost his job because of charges of corruption, has to say about this Railway Minister and what he should be doing.
Well, one thing which one didn't expect from them was that once they were saying that अच्छे दिन आने वाले हैं, one did not expect that the first thing that they would do is to raise the fares and the freight to the extent they have raised. And that certainly would have a very cascading, big effect on the prices of all the essential commodities otherwise. And having raised the fares and the freight so high, so steeply only a few days back and just few days before the budget, well, I think the budget is a formality thereafter because it's essentially a statement of financial accounts. He has raised the fares, but now what facilities, what modernization is he going to introduce and carrying forward what we have done? For that instance, I'll give the example, signaling is one very important thing. I had declared that we will set up one modern signaling equipment plant here in Chandigarh in the public PPP mode. Let's hope that he does it for Chandigarh, but that's not for Chandigarh, that's for the entire country. It would benefit, and wherever there is the priority has to be given to the doubling of lines because so the trains can run without any difficulty, and we must see how we can utilize the capacity to the maximum extent. Dr. Manmohan Singh ji had taken personal interest in the dedicated freight corridors. Contracts have been awarded. Let's see how they expedite that work, and that is something very important which has to be done. And before we move on to the high-speed trains, which will be a big task, the semi-high speed, which we had worked on and which of course has been tried also from Delhi to Agra line, let's hope that is taken up on some important routes including Delhi-Chandigarh.
One of the things that Sadanand Gowda announced in his interview this morning is that the Railway Ministry, in keeping with Modi's idea of being big on social media, will now have a Facebook and Twitter handle. They got a Twitter handle going yesterday. It's called Railmin India. My colleague Shiv Arur is standing by. What are the sort of posts that are coming in on Railmail India? What are people on social media telling the Railway Minister?
Well, it's just only been 19 hours, so it's a little soon to really judge, Rahul. But, you know, mostly Sarkari stuff. Just, 8 tweets old, 19 hours since this Twitter account was actually made. But they've already notched up about 22,000 followers. So there's a huge amount of interest already in this social media push. 19 hours old, Sadanand Gowda tweeting, but I want to give you a sense of how people are responding, Rahul. Each and every one of the tweets that have been put out in the last 19 hours by the Rail Ministry have been retweeted, many, many times. But you've got these responses from citizens, people actually writing in saying, please use your, server private websites. Please provide us more information. Railway Ministry should see how genuine travelers get a ticket. So that feedback mechanism is already working really well. So the genuine hope is that there's someone actually looking at all of these suggestions and monitoring these suggestions, because as you well know, Rahul, you're on Twitter. It's an absolute tsunami of, negativity, but also a lot of positive as far as social media is concerned. So only 8 tweets old, and the Railway Ministry Twitter account is already completely deluged with suggestions from citizens. I just want to give you a sense of, Sadanand Gowda is already on Twitter. He's been on Twitter for much longer than the Railway Ministry itself, even though he has fewer followers. I'm sure that will probably change after today. But, if you compare, Rahul, I mean, just a final comparison between the Railway Ministry of India, which is only now on Twitter and Facebook, and, say, for example, the National Rail, which is the national railway system in the UK. This is a fabulous example of where our Railway Ministry should be as far as social media is concerned. They've been on Twitter since 2009. They've got about 240,000 followers, no mistake there. But the kind of information, the kind of level of engagement that the British railway system does on Twitter is absolutely amazing. They tell you give you real-time information on train movements, on blockages, apologies for any kind of confusion. They also put out refreshed and the latest prices of tickets that are available, special offers, real-time updates on precisely where delays might be happening. And there's one amazing tweet down here where it actually gives users suggestions on perhaps alternate routes to take in case they need to get to a place really fast. So, if anybody from the Railway Ministry is watching right now, I'd suggest, if they haven't already, to have a look at the British National Rail Twitter account. Fabulous example, ready-made live examples of how transportation departments and governments can really get the best out of social media.
This is also a big transition for a bunch of officials who mostly think of social media as voodoo. They have no idea what it is, and suddenly they're being told by Modi, get onto it, and they're essentially treating it, unfortunately, as another forum for putting out press releases, Dr. Lahiri, and that really makes it very boring. You saw, for example, how the UK handle was using it. If you're going to be on social media, you have to play the part.
You know, Rahul, I must tell you this funny anecdote. I was not always old. When I was young, a cousin of mine, we used to travel by second class from Delhi to Kolkata. The railway minister, the late Madhav Rao Scindia, said that if you have any suggestions, please write. So he sent a postcard saying that I am traveling by this train. This is my number. If you want to know really, please come. Come Mughal Sarai, this black suited railway officials came. Who is Mr. Bhattacharya? Who is Mr. Bhattacharya? They actually came and asked him.
Are you for real?
And the passengers were very impressed. You must be a big man. He couldn't tell them, no, I just sent a postcard and these guys came. So if social media has to be used, railway has to be proactive and actually respond.
See, I think the key is governance. Now that he mentioned Scindia, I recall that he was known as one of the better, perhaps the best railway minister in the past. So the key is governance, and this illustrates it. Governance is not just about Twitter or anything, it's about making a real difference. And what this indicated was the guy was interested in doing something. My problem with when I talk about corruption is not just the money, it's that nobody is interested. There are very few people left in most government organizations who actually want to do the job, who want to perform the thing, who want to do it well.
That's a huge problem, because much more
self-motivated.
Much more
who want to achieve something rather than just take the money, earn a little on the side, and just carry on and not get fired.
Okay, I need to take a
that
quick
is my
break.
basic problem.
I think you're absolutely right, because much more than speed trains, what the Indian Railways really needs is a change in the work culture, in the ethos of the ticket collector, of the man on the counter, every single person in that network. If they just become more
things,
customer oriented, the experience of the Aam Aadmi will change, and that will be something that we'll credit Modi for if that were to happen.